It's about embracing the divine feminine, the wild witch, the parts of us that have been shut down by a culture that overvalues the masculine and undervalues the feminine. And I want people to be able to grab onto that part of themselves and say, yes, I want to claim this part of myself. I don't want to be bullied by consensus reality and what culture says should be valuable. I want people to find value in the parts of them that are witchy, that are healing, that are intuitive, that are embodied. Love's Cauldron is written for people who are healers, people who are interested in the intuitive, people who are psychic or clairvoyant or clairaudient or any of those types of things, people who are interested in witches, people who are witches in their last life. This book is written for people who want to take an emotional healing journey, follow my emotional healing journey, and learn more about how we develop our intuition, how we develop the ability to hear our guides and guidance. This book is written for anybody who is at all interested in Wicca, shamanism, witches, intuition, or healing. And there's a ton of different types of healers. There's massage people who heal through touch. There's people who use scent to heal, aroma. There's people who heal by writing. There's people who heal by working one-on-one with people. There's people who heal themselves, actually, not just heal others, but heal by going into nature. There's just many kinds of healing, and this book is good for anybody interested in any of that. Love's Cauldron would help anyone understand more about healing in a broad way, because healing is broad. It's not one thing. Just being connected to other dimensions is an aspect of healing. Healing can be in the body, it can be in the emotional plane, the physical plane, some of the more esoteric planes. Healing can happen by having specific knowledge. And to say a little more about healing, healing is the process of making whole. So if you take things that are fragmented, and a lot of the book talks about taking fragmented parts of myself or others and making it more whole, that is a major part of healing. People with a lot of empathy will be interested in this book, because this book is filled with empathy and love. Love for our planet, love for the universe, love for outer beings like the North Star, love for the animals, love for the grass. It's a book about love and compassion and empathy, which is part of what healing is. And so anybody who has empathy is going to enjoy reading this book. I've wanted to write a book for many, many, many years, and I have, I would say, acres of writing all over the place, in old computers, in new computers, in hard drives, in folders that have been printed out, many, many three-ring binders. I've writing everywhere, and I've always known I wanted to write a book, and I've always been too busy with the rest of my life, with being a therapist, with whatever I was doing at that time. It took up all the space. To write this book, I had to get up early and spend 2 hours every morning working on the book, so that it took a while to write. I don't remember how long. And then I worked with an editor, and then it took a while to get an agent. And then it took, I'm going to say, at least 3.5 years from getting the book to the agent to getting a publisher. So it was a massively long process, writing Love's Cauldron, which is actually been split into 2 books because it was very long. And so there will be a part 1 and a part 2. I split the book at the advice of multiple people, including my publisher, because just getting into the technical side of things, printing costs, nobody wants to carry a 15-pound book with them that costs $30. When I started writing Love's Cauldron, which was initially named I Am Witch, The Art of Becoming, I didn't know what I was writing about. I just knew I was writing a book. I didn't know what the book was going to be. And what happened as I was writing is I began to realize I was writing about the part of me that is a witch, the part of me that is bigger, a bigger person who is connected to the bigger world, to the bigger universe, to the cosmos. I started reading tarot cards when I was 25. That was almost 40 years ago. I work with a pendulum. I learned how to do that in 2007, many years ago. Used the I Ching for many years. I know astrology. I'm a therapist. So I've worked with these different forms of divination, and I use them to learn about myself or learn about others so that I could grow, so I could heal, so I could help myself navigate through this life, through this world. When I was writing Love's Cauldron, I would first of all say it isn't a traditional story arc. It's a little different. It's non-linear. It moves back and forth in time. And each chapter could be a standalone piece, and yet it works in a book because it's all talking about this journey. And each piece is part of the mosaic. Love's Cauldron has a lot of stories in it. There's a lot of emotional stories about my growth path and my healing. There's also areas where I just explain things, explain how the pendulum works, or I explain how you can use the tarot to heal oneself, where the way you frame the question can help point you in the direction that you need to go. The book really does have many different types of writing in it. It has these little poems in it that I call beads, and they take you into a different space, and then it goes into emotional writing to take you on an emotional journey that is enjoyable and does heal. The reader will get healing from reading the book because it is an emotional healing journey. The beads or poems I have in the book, actually I've had a lot of beta readers, and it's some of the favorite parts for some of the people because they're very light and beautiful and esoteric, and they expand your consciousness while you're reading them. It's my intention for the reader, when they're reading Love's Cauldron, to have an immersive emotional experience, to find their own healing as they read, as little pieces fall into place, to be on a journey. And also for people who aren't sure, about witchiness. I talked to one person and she said, well, I'm not really a witch. But then she said, but before I had my baby, I knew it was going to be a girl. And that is witchy, these knowings we have. And I want people to really, really embrace their knowings. Embrace also the part of life that is feminine. We live in a world that honors the masculine, logical, what we can see, taste, touch. We don't live in a world that honors gut feelings, that honors intuition, that honors the body cycles. Like women have childbirth, they have periods. These are things men have always shied away from historically. And it's about embracing the divine feminine, the wild witch, the parts of us that have been shut down by a culture that overvalues the masculine and undervalues the feminine. And I want people to be able to grab onto that part of themselves and say, yes, I want to claim this part of myself. I don't want to be bullied by consensus reality and what culture says should be valuable. I want people to find value in the parts of them that are witchy, that are healing, that are intuitive, that are embodied. The book is called Love's Cauldron, Reclaiming the Wild Feminine, and part 1 of the book is called Deliverance, and part 2 is called Savior. And those are just words that came to me. I didn't really know why I was using those words, but I knew I was supposed to use them. And so I said, okay, I'll do that. The word reclaim, and of course I considered a number of words, including embracing, including divine feminine instead of wild feminine. But reclaim deals with the past, the present, and the future. We are reclaiming things that were taken away from us in the past, how we've been suppressed, how the feminine has been suppressed. We are reclaiming that in the past, in the current, and bringing it out into the future. We're not just celebrating it. It's like the floodwaters come in and cover, and you can't see what's there. And then when they recede, you see all the stuff that needs to be cleaned up and owned that was not available before. It's claiming who you are and what you are. The other thing that Love's Cauldron does focus on here and there is past lives. And I don't necessarily believe in linear past lives, and maybe some of the things we remember are actually metaphors as opposed to real events, but I do look at the place of past lives. I've met a number of women who when I did work with them, a certain kind of work to take them into past lives, they remembered being burned or stoned or drowned. And we have past lives. So you get born into this life with these wounds still active from a past life. Well, if you were burned for being a witch in a past life, you might not be so eager to speak your mind in this life. And to heal that would be just amazing, so that women can really find all of their power and not hide, because if they speak or show who they are, someone's going to judge them and something bad might happen. We're hoping to have Love's Cauldron released June 1st. There's no guarantee yet because I have so much to do, including figuring out how to turn it into an audiobook and yada yada. But the projected release date is June 1st. It's being published by Filament Publishing in England. I'm hoping that you'll run out and get a copy, and thank you.